Steph here. Welcome to the Stable Studio. Welcome back. Talking about Mixolydian again today, but a slightly different approach. Last time I spoke about sort of Mixolydian stuff. We was talking about just using the D major scale over the A7, which is kind of what we're doing, but with a completely different approach. So if you've seen the last video, I'll pop it in the description if you haven't, but we were talking about ways of finding the A Mixolydian mode, but from a different viewpoint, if you like. So just a bit of sort of grounding sort of knowledge here. If you've got an A Mixolydian scale, it's an A major scale with a flat 7, right? And basically when I first learned that, I spent ages trying to learn that everywhere on the fretboard, and then tried to work out what licks would work. I found it had limitations for me. All right, like I say, I'm a shapes guy. I've said this on loads of videos. I always like looking at shapes and patterns. So what I ended up kind of working out is that A Mixolydian mode is the same notes as D major, right, but from a different starting point. So the notes of A Mixolydian, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, which is your flat 7, right, are the same notes as the D major scale. So as soon as I started to think in D major, I was like, oh, okay, now I can do all my D major licks, and they work perfectly. And that's where we were at on the last video, right? So to find which relative major scale you need to use, there's a couple of ways of doing it. Last time I was talking about just using a power chord, which is a real simple little trick. I'm going to call it a trick, not a hack. And it's finding an A as the highest note of a power chord, right? So as you know, a power chord is 2 notes, right? A root and a fifth. So if you can put the A, whatever key you're in, if you're in A blues, like I was at the beginning, if you can put the A at the top of a power chord, whatever note is the root, in this case it's a D. That's the major scale you need to use to make it sound Mixolydian in the key of A. The other way of looking at it, right, is to play a major scale off of 1, 2, 3, the fourth note of the major scale of whatever key you're in, right? So that's the other way of looking at it. So anyway, so there's the bit of theory. Using D major over A minor, if I just use the D major scale, you'll hear how it kind of sounds like A Mixolydian, even though I'm thinking D major, right? And I'm just messing with the scale, nothing too interesting really. What it does is it makes you want to land on an A because you're in A, right? So that's a cheap way of playing A Mixolydian, but using all your favourite D major licks that kind of sound like they're working in A Mixolydian. And that's what I worked out. And for me, that just opened up loads of doors, because like, okay, I don't have to think about just playing A major with a flat 7, because that made me have to think too hard and not get into enjoying the melody and the groove of the music, which is what I really enjoy doing. It made me have to think way too hard. I like easy fixes, and this was an easy fix for me. So we're taking that up a level, as I said today, and what we're going to do is use the triads in the key of D major to make some interesting noises. Okay, musical noises, hopefully musical noises. So I'm just going to take the triads in the key of D major, and I'm just going to use them on the thinnest, for now, the thinnest 3 strings, the top 3 strings here. No, not that one. Back up to A again, right? So, excuse the mistake there. So what we've got is D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, the one I got wrong last time, B minor, and then we've got a C sharp diminished, which just so happens to be the same notes as A7. So there you go, that's a nice, useful one to use. And if you don't know your kind of your triads or your chords in the key of in a major key. I've got a video for that as well, which I'll put in the description, which I did ages ago, called Key Signature Tricks or whatever it was. But basically, it's just a major, minor, minor, major, major, minor thing. But I'll pop that in the description. Pause this video, watch that, and it will give you a bit more knowledge on that bit of theory. But yeah, so key of D major, D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, and then you've got the C sharp diminished. So try and show these really clearly. D major, which comes from this shape. E minor, which comes from this shape. Excuse me. F sharp minor, which comes from that shape. G major, which comes from this shape. Or if you want to play it the traditional way, not that I can fit my fingers in. A major, which comes from that shape. B minor, which comes from that shape. And then the diminished to finish off with, which the full shape for that, I'm not even going to try and fit my fingers in there. Doesn't really matter too much in a minute. But anyway, I'm playing, to give you the fret numbers in this case, I'm playing 16, 15, 13. So 7, 7, 5, 9, 8, 7. Numbers screw me up completely because I look at the fretboard in shapes. F sharp will be 11, 10, 9. G will be 12, 12, 10. A will be 14, 14, 12. B minor will be 16, 15, 14. And the diminished, we've got, what is that? 18, 18, 17, 15. Terrible with numbers, right? I'm just looking at shapes my whole life. I was good at shape sorters as a kid, I reckon. I have to think about the numbers. Thank goodness there's dots on the guitar, because if I had to remember numbers, I think I'd be stuffed. So, anyway, we're going to use those. And if I just play those over this backing track that I've got, this little loop that I've done, you can hear how it kind of sounds like Mixolydian, but there's some more interesting note selections because you're playing in arpeggios. So. All the time doing that, you know, the entire solo. It might sound a little bit too angular, but it's really cool to throw the odd lick in. So what I'm going to do is just show you a couple of examples of how I use those, because I know a few of you have said do a lick video, and I need to still think about actual licks that I play and sit down and film that, because like I said, I work out shapes most of the time. So let me show you a couple of little licks. I might have to think about this quite hard when I'm talking about licks, but let's give it a go. This is quite useful, little one. So let's slow down and show you what I'm doing. So I'm using the E minor, which is the second chord of the key of D major. So that's the second one, and I'm just literally sort of hammering on from within the kind of blues scale here, which kind of makes it E minor 7 actually, but don't worry about the theory, right? So I'm hammering on here, going up that arpeggio to basically make it E minor 7, pulling off, and then ending on the major third to the A. And I'm always talking about targeting thirds because it sounds expensive. If you've seen my videos on the money notes, hit the money notes, it's all about targeting, you know, those major thirds or those chord tones. So, so that's that lick. It sounds quite nice over the, which one? See, my memory's not amazing. I can't even remember which button on the timeline it is to press play. So, it sounds like this. If you get to there, you've got a root note here, an A. So you could. Make your way back into the minor I'm going to label them so I can see them from here. Another one is the diminished, kind of like the last triad in the D major, which you can play an octave lower. A minute ago I gave you the fret numbers for the high version up here, but obviously the lower octave just here. And as I said earlier, that triad, that diminished triad, I need another coffee, my brain's not working. The diminished triad, right, is the same notes, D diminished triad, C sharp diminished triad, the same notes in A7, or these three notes. So the C sharp, the E, and the G. If you had a higher, another major third, you know, it's probably a little bit more outside. But these three work really nicely over the A7, over the A, because they are an A7 as well. So I use this one a lot. So another little lick I do quite often is to use that, and then probably slide down the B minor triad, right? And then on the A there. That's quite a nice, tidy little lick. Tidy little lick. I'm in the A major pentatonic there, by the way. You can do the opposite way around. You could go up the B minor and then slide into the C sharp diminished, and you end up on the major third of the A. Whichever way around you like. And it's stuff like that just makes your playing sound a little bit more expensive, a little bit more interesting. You know, I've found over the years that really it's down to note selection and phrasing for why I like a particular guitar player. I think my main influence, like when I first started learning guitar as a kid, the first guitar player that I heard, who I didn't know who it was at the time, but was Bryan Adams' guitar player, Keith Scott. I was really into Bryan Adams in the early 80s, when he first kind of hit the ground running with those first few albums. And I just remember hearing Keith Scott's guitar playing, and it was so melodic. And it was just never really super fast, widdly. It was just always, his phrasing was awesome and his note selection was awesome. So I picked up on that at an early age and got into loads of guitar players in that kind of style. So for me, it's all about your note selection, choosing some more interesting notes to play. I mean, these notes that I was just playing in the C sharp minor, C sharp diminished triad there, which is the same as A7 for these three notes, right? You're playing most of those notes anyway in the minor pentatonic scale. You're playing a G here, you're playing the E here. The only one that you probably wouldn't play in the minor pentatonic scale is the C sharp, which is the major third. But you might have added it in before. You might have gone. But I don't know whether anybody's ever realised, you know, that it's exactly the same thing. It's just allowing you to phrase it differently because it's a different finger position, and that's invaluable. Just being able to play the same three notes somewhere else phrases it completely differently. So you can use any of those triads in the key of D major, and some of them will work better than others. Some will sound a bit more outside than others. It's just experimenting with them, have a little bit of a play. That was the A major, G major. You could use the G major down here as well, on those three strings, because that actually gives you a flat 7, a 9, and a 4 from the A. It gives you a kind of like 11th, dominant 11th kind of sound. So the G works nicely. From the G triad here, you could go into that C sharp diminished. Down the B B minor. There's a nice lick I just made up. I've probably done something like it before, but like I said, I just see things in shapes. So I'm not necessarily thinking, oh, I like... I've learned that and it's a lick and it's in my lick library in my head. Which probably is. Most of the time I'm seeing shapes and I'm seeing chord shapes, arpeggios and kind of superimposing other stuff over top of what I'm playing. So here's an interesting one. So I'll play the G major arpeggio here, the A7, or as we're looking at it, the C sharp diminished, then went down the B minor, which obviously comes from this shape, and then you end up on A. So and it sounds expensive and it's easy, you know, it's just all about visualizing the fretboard in a different way than just a box. I'm thinking, oh, I'm stuck in that all day long. Nothing wrong with it really, but it does limit you on your phrasing choices, not necessarily note choices, because everything you need is there, but it can limit you on your phrasing choices and the way that you play those notes. So yeah, try some of these out. So the G, C sharp diminished, B minor. What am I doing there? I added an extra note in. What was that? That wasn't that note. See, this is where we're going to get an issue when it comes to showing you licks, because I'm just doing it. I haven't really planned it half the time. Oh, it's probably just a ghost note. So yeah, I just added like a ghost note in between for, you know, for some percussion. I'm a frustrated maraca player. The best thing I've ever been taught by any teacher is you're only a fret away from a correct note because of how music works, right? So just have a go at everything, you know, try and experiment with these little kind of triads and just try as much as you can to get yourself out of the box a little bit and try something different. So yeah, just use those D major triads, play around with them, try some of those little lick ideas that I had today, see how you get on. Let me know how you get on in the comments, because I'm always happy to chat with you all in the comments, and if I can help, or if you've got any video ideas, please let me know. I've got a list of video ideas from some of you and I'm still getting through those. But I hope this has been useful to you, and I hope it's going to get you outside that pentatonic box just a little bit more and thinking a little bit differently about the guitar neck rather than just a scale shape all of the time. So let me know how you get on. If you've enjoyed it, I'd appreciate if you give it a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. That just helps the channel and lets more people see these videos and keeps me going, so I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. See you later.